Florida school district pulls over 1,600 books for review to possibly be banned, including dictionaries. Guinness Book of World Records and Anne Frank's diary. They pull the Bible as well, emissions like those of donkeys or whatever. I don't know, man. Florida's pretty cooked. It's pretty over here, I feel. If it makes you guys feel any better, anything bad that you see happening in Florida is kind of irrelevant because the state's going to be underwater in a decade, you know? We're basically all, we're seeing like people scrambling about the top deck of the Titanic. It sounds like I'm joking, but unironically, I'm kind of not. Remember how the past year there were insurance companies that refused to do business in Florida because they didn't want to insure properties that were that likely to be totaled in a hurricane? There's a lot of like, there are significant economic, social, and political consequences to being like that vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Not to mention Ron DeSantis has been losing a lot of popularity there as well because he concentrated all of his attention on a doomed presidential effort. So it's been an interesting shift, I think, there in terms of like, I don't know, the viability of the state moving forward. Not to mention rent prices skyrocketed. I don't know. And a lot of people don't do proper research before sinking hundreds of thousands into property there. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad, man. Fuck. Texas, like the entire Texas electrical grid died because of some mild snow. Florida's fucking cooked. California, the housing prices are insane. The next bulwark of America is the Midwest. If your state borders the Great Lakes, you have a future, you know? You have like infinite fresh water, essentially. You have, relative resistance to the effects of climate change. It's always relative, right? Nowhere's immune, but that's the big hope. Illinois, get on out there. Mild snow, lol Vaush. Yeah, I would say that for shutting down the statewide electrical grid, what happened in Texas would be described as mild snow. Yeah, like that is not the amount of snow that came down in Texas was not what I would consider a sufficient amount to like legitimately destroy an entire state electrical grid, but it did. So, you know, FEMA gave Texas a 10% rating on their buildings being up to code. Well, it's FEMA, you know, that's an Obama-run organization, so whatever. It's a shame. It's a shameful how, despite how incompetent these governors have demonstrated themselves to be, they still get elected. Well, yeah, I mean, if you are a Republican, competence and governance are not things that you care about. You know, you'll basically just vote for whoever seems to be the most opposed to black people and women's rights. It seems that sounds like an exaggeration, but legitimately that's a better descriptor of like conservative voting trends than anything else, you know? It sounds reductive, and I feel like a lot of people would do that, like tut, you know, like, no, it's more complicated. But it's not really. Seriously, look at the history of conservatism in the United States from the 60s onward. That really does seem to be the primary driver of the voting interest there. Florida's genuinely fucked when it comes to sea level rise. Here's an article on how bad it is for them. Oh, no, I know, fully. Are you guys excited for Florida to bankrupt itself on trying to deal with the consequences of the sea level rise and then to bankrupt the federal government because federal tax dollars start getting pumped into Florida to protect it? Disney is going to lobby the federal government to spend trillions building a gigantic seawall around all of Florida. Aren't they already blaming this on being woke? Well, the main thing they're doing actually is that a lot of conservatives are shifting from denying climate change to openly acknowledging that climate change exists, but saying that it was inevitable and nothing could have been done to stop it, you know? Which was pretty much a lot of conservatives do believe that climate change is happening. They just don't think it's anthropogenic. They think that God is bringing it about because it's a prelude to the rapture. Basically, all Christians for all of history thought they were about to be raptured. That's just every Christian believes this. So, the world ending to them is just an affirmation of their, of their religious biases. Protestants, right? I do mostly associate that tendency with Protestants, yeah. Catholics have always seemed more interested in building civilization than Protestants. Every time I look into Protestants, like whenever the religiously, I guess more sort of like evangelical elements of it flare up, or the more like cultish elements of it, it seems like the main thing Protestants want to do is like live in a community of 200 people, work 18 hours a day, and die having experienced like physical pleasure only 3 times in their life. And if they were miserable enough in life, then they get to go to heaven. And also the world is ending, so it doesn't matter anyway. Whereas Catholics seem to have a much richer attitude towards like the development of civilization. I think Protestantism is just a death cult, frankly. I kind of hate Martin Luther. I hate, well, wait. No, not Martin Luther. I would hate King Henry, right? Wait, Henry or George? King Henry, right? Yeah, it'd be Henry. Yeah, kind of hate King Henry. Yeah, Henry the Eighth. It was Luther first. Yeah, but Martin Luther, the things that I feel like this is mostly a Henry VIII thing. I don't know. Like, Catholics have done a lot of really fucked up stuff, but I think they believe in the concept of human civilization. I don't know if Protestants do. Protestants are too, like, hyper-individualist. They don't seem to believe in community, you know? Catholics will build gigantic monuments to their faith. Catholics will do colonialism because they want to spread the word of Christ. Now, do they kill a bajillion people in doing so? Yes, they do. But the Catholics, at least from my understanding, like in the historical text, the Catholic sort of impositions on other cultures often did seem to be fueled in part by like some kind of sincere interest in spreading the word of Christ, you know? That's not a defense of it. I'm just saying they believed in it. Meanwhile, the only reason Protestants in America taught Protestantism to slaves was because they wanted them to work harder. Like, did they really believe? I don't even know. I think I just hate Protestant. I just it's the Polish and the Irish in me. I am being there are rubber bands connected to my heart and my soul, and I am being pulled back towards grand cathedrals. Martin Luther literally advocated for eating your own shit daily. That sounds about right. Oh no, Calvin. I do hate Calvinism more than basically any other. It's every time Calvinism gets mentioned in chat, I start like Fed posting for an hour about how, like, listen, okay, if you guys think it's all predetermined, then go find out now, okay? Rid the world of your blighted fucking religious cult dog shit, your dogma, okay? And if you think your entrance into heaven is predetermined, okay, why wait? Fuck off. Holy shit, I hate Calvinism so fucking much. Jesus Christ. That was legit funny as fuck, imagining a bunch of cardinals dragging you foot first into a cathedral. Well, now that the Pope is woke, right? Like, that's probably the good direction to, you know, head forward anyway. What is Calvinism? Calvinism is the most fucked up Christian religion. I don't know if it's the most fucked up one. It's pretty bad, though. Basically, my memory of Calvinism is that only 5 people get to go to heaven to suck God's dick, okay? And the 5 people who get to go to heaven are all predetermined. When you're born, it's already been decided. So, like, there's a 99.99999% chance that you're not going to heaven, and hell is real, and you'll suffer there eternally. And while your entrance into heaven has already been predetermined, the kind of person who was predetermined to go to heaven is also the kind of person who would spend their entire life slavishly suffering for their God. So, in order to post hoc legitimize your belief that you're going to go to heaven, that you're one of the chosen ones, you basically live a life of like austerity and suffering. And also you're super judgmental because anyone who's not already a Calvinist is guaranteed going to hell. There's no like savior element to it. There's not even an interest in helping other people. That's kind of retarded. It's so retarded. It's really mean. It seems like guaranteed to give you an anxiety disorder. It's literally like the black-pilled faith. It's like lie down and rot. It's so bad. It's really bad, you know. Wasn't Hake a Calvinist? Hake is a homosexual. You know, they're mutually exclusive categories. Not to defend them, but like material conditions. No, yeah, material conditions, this, that, the other. You know, pedophilia, everything under the sun is material conditions, right? That doesn't mean you can't, you know, say mean things about them. All right, we're moving on.